Local activists are pushing for the approval on the Build Back Better agenda. Coming up on Cronkite News, more on the $3.5 trillion budget bill.
Plus, many restaurants have been heavily impacted by the pandemic. Hear how one owner worked to overcome the challenges from COVID-19.
Still ahead, the Tucson Dragway is letting the community test their need for speed on the track. How you can show your driving skills.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Karen Marroquin.
And I'm Julia Sandor. Thank you for joining us.
The Arizona courts decided that the state Senate must make their records of the 2020 election audit available to the public. The Senate's independent audit, conducted by the group Cyber Ninjas, has been ongoing since the spring. The results of this audit have been much anticipated but are yet to be released. After the court's decision was announced, Senate President Karen Fann says she's preparing to release the documents and would talk with her attorney about how to comply. Election officials from across the country met today to discuss the audit and election integrity.
It is yet to be known whether we will be able to see the draft. It is yet to be known who is reviewing that draft. I think that the Senate is represented by capable legal counsel who will probably soften some of the edges maybe on some of the statements, but we'll read it seriously and we will not let it just lie.
Richer and others shared their skepticism of the Cyber Ninjas report and do not anticipate that it will yield legitimate results.
A group of activists is asking Arizona senators to support a budget bill that, according to them, would benefit people across the state and country. Cronkite News reporter PAYTON MUSE explains the bill provides funding for a range of programs that could aid the economy.
The budget proposed by President Joe Biden covers clean energy, education, immigration, and infrastructure, but there's still a long way to go before it becomes law.
We are fortunate with us today to have three speakers.
It's called the Build Back Better agenda. Activists held a couple of press conferences in the Valley to push for the project, which could lower childcare costs, prescription drug costs, and would provide more clean energy jobs. Activists believe that's the only action that could help the future of the state and the country. They focused in on one part of the bill.
The climate crisis has already disrupted the daily lives of many Arizonans, and my generation is incredibly concerned about the climate that we are going to inherit.
That's what the budget reconciliation debate is really about. It's about your generation and it's about your kids.
Other leaders from across the state are calling for Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Mark Kelly to support the Build Back Better agenda. Cronkite News reached out to Senator Kyrsten Sinema to ask her about her position about it. She sent us this statement. I made clear that while I will support beginning this process, I do not support a bill that costs $3.5 trillion. And in the coming months, I will work in good faith to develop this legislation with my colleagues and the administration to strengthen Arizona's economy and help Arizona's everyday families get ahead.
We also contacted Senator Kelly last Friday, and as of today, he still has not replied. From the Broadcast Center, PAYTON MUSE, Cronkite News.
President Biden met with U.S. Senator Kyrsten Sinema today over her objections to the infrastructure package. Sinema arrived at the White House this morning after vocally opposing the plan. Senate Democrats need all 50 votes and the vice president's tie-breaking vote to move the bill forward. Biden's Build Back Better plan is at the heart of his national agenda.
SRP approved a plan to more than double the size of a natural gas burning power plant in Coolidge Monday night. The $953 million expansion of the Coolidge generating station was approved to provide additional electricity for Metro Phoenix during peak use hours. The plan passed with an 8-6 vote. Opponents to the plan say this could add to the carbon emissions contributing to climate change, while SRP officials say the expansion will include more opportunities to add wind and solar power.
Some Sky Harbor restaurant workers are on strike, causing some closures and headaches for travelers at the Phoenix airport. Workers from HMS Toast Management Group, which operates 29 restaurants at Sky Harbor, walked off the job this morning. They say they're on strike because of understaffing at the restaurants inside the airport. Workers say the lack of staff means schedules are different every day, they aren't getting the training they need, and overtime is now expected. The walk-off closed down a number of restaurants, including a Starbucks in Terminal 3.
If we had not striked, my coworker would have been opening by herself, and she would have been there by herself from 3 a.m. till 4:30 in the morning when we're supposed to be opening. However, oftentimes our own management is so late, we cannot open until we have sufficient staffing.
We reached out to HMS about the workers' concerns, but we have not heard back. In a statement to the Arizona Republic, the company says they are, quote, dealing with the same severe staffing crisis as other employers, and that they are committed to prioritizing hiring and staffing.
In California, voters rejected a Republican attempt to recall Governor Gavin Newsom in the election yesterday. A coalition of immigrant rights groups held a news conference this morning, celebrating the victory. Newsom's most vocal opponent, Republican Larry Elder, has criticized immigration policy at our border. Leaders from Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment and other groups say this is a moment to preserve their community and take pride in a government they feel is working with them.
We defeated this recall, and we want to help preserve the rights and victories that we've gained so far. We deserve a safe and affordable place to call home. We deserve our tax dollars to be used for programs that uplift and protect us.
Newsom won the recall with more than 5.8 million votes, which represents nearly 64% of Californians.
A new ensemble in Los Angeles is making headlines in the music world as the first LGBTQ mariachi band. We'll share how the group came together coming up after the break.
A record-breaking monsoon season helped fill some of our reservoirs. Details on how that's helping our drought coming up.
Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream. For the first time ever, our most popular programs have been selected just for you.
But there's so much more.
Whether you like to travel,
wow,
feast,
and calories don't count.
Look back,
that is me.
Discover.
You know the whole story.
There's something for everyone.
Let's get to it right away.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
What you get from Washington Week that you will not get anywhere else are the best and the brightest reporters from different media companies, and they're able to have a real conversation about things that are happening in Washington and around the country. But it's also a show about issues that are relevant to different communities.
How do you think that...
As the moderator, I feel this deep responsibility to bring in those other perspectives so that people understand how power and politics impact their daily lives.
Friday nights at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Hispanic restaurants across the valley were no strangers to the challenges of the pandemic. Cronkite News reporter Ryan TISMINEZKY takes a look at how one restaurant overcame the hardship of COVID-19.
Small businesses were severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In Arizona, some were about to close their doors. We talked to the owner of a Salvadoran restaurant who tells us how they dealt with the situation. Since 2002, the Salvadoreño restaurant has been bringing unique dishes to the valley. Yesenia Ramirez is the co-owner of the restaurant.
We just wanted to have more options, so people can come in.
Those options are pupusas, a traditional dish from El Salvador made with corn and filled with cheese and all kinds of meats, from pork to steak, chicken, and beyond.
In the East Valley, that's where we started. There wasn't a lot of options, for our culture, our country.
Ramirez says she saw rapid success. Since opening the first location in 2002, they opened 4 more across the valley and even one in California. but things changed when the pandemic hit.
We had about a 30 to 40% drop in our sales.
They adapted by switching to takeout only, but even this came with problems.
There was a shortage of those containers because everybody was needing, takeout containers. The gloves, for example, the gloves that would normally cost us about $8, $8 a box, more or less, they went up to $30. A lot of it, the financial part not only has been the decrease in sales, but also the increase in prices of our material.
According to survey data, 59% of Hispanic households in Arizona reported job disruptions in the first 4 months of the pandemic. Angie Amarias from the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce says they offer help to Hispanic businesses.
We connected them with business success grants. We connected with, the Raza Development Fund, one of the highest institutional Hispanic financial institution.
Just under 2 years later, things are now looking up for Ramirez and her restaurant. While it brought struggles, the pandemic also brought a learning experience.
So I feel like right now we're actually doing better now as far as, the sales. We're definitely getting a lot of new customers.
Many organizations, both public and private, are assisting Hispanic businesses to recover from the crisis. In the broadcast center, Ryan TISMINEZKY, Cronkite News.
Arizona has their own mariachi ensembles, but one Los Angeles group stands out. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Amanda Day takes us to one of their special performances.
Mariachi Arcoiris de Los Angeles says it is the first LGBTQ+ mariachi band in the world.
It's just incredible to be, in a group of this caliber to begin with, and a group of this intersectional identity, because it very much fits in with my intersectional identity, being queer and Mexican. So it's just, it's just a place where I can just show that to the world.
According to the ensemble, they are also home to the first transgender woman in the history of mariachi to work as a musician.
The first time that Carlos formed Mariachi Arcoiris de Los Angeles, but back then I was, my name was different. I was presenting myself as a different person. I was not out publicly. I was still discovering myself and what I am, what I was, but I was a gay male presenting myself in mariachi.
This particular mariachi ensemble started in 2000 and then again in 2016, and its members are proud to be a part of the LGBTQ+ community.
Our music really encompasses everything about the human emotion. So whether that be love or betrayal or talking about the farm animals on the ranch, this music comes from the country folk, and that's where it originates from.
Members of the ensemble feel like this is a place where they can be themselves. In Los Angeles, Amanda Day, Cronkite News.
Mariachi music is significant in the Mexican culture, and bands are often hired to perform for weddings and other special occasions across the Southwest.
According to the Salt River Project, this monsoon season was the wettest season since the 1950s, making this a record-breaking season for the valley in recent years. Monsoon rain provides water for the Salt and Verde River watershed and reservoirs, as well as reduces the fire risk at the national forests. This season provided nearly 250,000 acre-feet of water inflow to the Salt and Verde River reservoirs. 1 acre-foot of water can supply 325,000 gallons of water, which can supply 3 Phoenix Metro households for the year. However, the state is still in a drought, according to the SRP.
We may still be in the triple digits, but it looks like temps are starting to cool down a little in the mornings and evenings. Now we go to Milan Andrade in the Cronkite News Weather Center with more on the recent dip.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you've had a great day and continue to have a great rest of your day as we move on into the future cast. We've got some winds coming in through Phoenix and all the way down into Tucson. A little bit of clouds here and there, but nothing that's really going to drastically change the weather for tomorrow as we move on in to the high temperatures of Thursday. We're sitting at 106 in Bullhead City, 106 in Phoenix, but our friends up north are looking at a 78 and 91 in Sedona and Flagstaff, going all the way down to our friends even in the south, 92 Tombstone, 93 Douglas.
As we move on into the evening planner, we're still sitting at those low hundreds for 6 p.m., but the weather starts to get a little bit nicer as we dip into the high 90s at 8 p.m. and then the even low 90s at 10 p.m. Going into the 8-day forecast, 106 is going to be a hot one tomorrow, guys, for Thursday, but that fall weather for Arizona is slowly starting to creep in at 79. Same narrative for Friday and Saturday, low hundreds dipping into the low 80s, and for the rest of the week leading up until next Thursday, we're still looking at low hundreds, even low 80s at night, and mid to low 70s at night for the rest of Thursday and Wednesday next week. That's all for the weather wrap-up in downtown Phoenix. I'm Milan Andrade.
I'm Morgan Carden. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. A new drag racing series has started in Tucson, how the Tucson Dragway is letting the community burn some rubber on the track.
Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream. For the first time ever, our most popular programs have been selected just for you.
But there's so much more.
Whether you like to travel,
Wow.
feast,
And calories don't count.
look back,
That is me.
discover,
You know the whole story.
there's something for everyone.
Let's get to it right away.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
What you get from Washington Week that you will not get anywhere else are the best and the brightest reporters from different media companies, and they're able to have a real conversation about things that are happening in Washington and around the country. But it's also a show about issues that are relevant to different communities.
How do you think that
As the moderator, I feel this deep responsibility to bring in those other perspectives so that people understand how power and politics impact their daily lives.
Friday nights at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome back. I'm Morgan Carden with your Cronkite Sports Report. The Tucson Dragway has hosted almost every kind of drag racing event. Cronkite News reporter Jack Johnson shows how a new drag racing series is breaking traditional barriers and giving car enthusiasts a chance to live life in the fast lane.
A storm descended on the Tucson Dragway. Mother Nature supplied the lightning, street warriors brought the thunder. It was the first ever event in Arizona for Street Warriors, a nationwide touring series that champions the street racing culture. For the car enthusiasts in attendance on a stifling windy night, it was an opportunity to connect with their passion in a new way.
I want to hear loud cars. I think that's one of my favorite things. I just want it to be loud.
Loud cars were combined with high speeds. Unlike other established racing series, there were few barriers to entry. Entrants just needed to have an automobile, get a quick inspection, and pay a small fee to race for hours. The adrenaline rush of topping 100 miles per hour is not easily forgotten by road racing veterans.
It's exhilarating. You get a shiver all through your whole body, that excitement, the nerves, the tingling feeling, but then when you're all done, you get past the finish line, you get that deep breath of fresh air that just comes out. It's a great feeling.
This is the first time Street Warriors has appeared at Tucson Dragway. Normally the fine in Arizona for street racing outside of a place like this, 6 months in jail and a $2,500 fine for first offenders, but not here. This is a place where anybody can come bring their automobile, their car, their motorcycle, whatever's under the hood, and see how fast you can go.
A 2004 study done by Arizona State cited an estimate of 50 deaths annually from street racing. Street Warriors was born from the imagination of creator and president Chris Harris, who parlayed his love of street racing into a mission to make it safer.
To give racers the options to get off of the street, even if it's only for one night a month, they have the ability to come to the track and get off the street, avoid jail time, avoid killing somebody or themselves.
Whether it be for the first time or all over again, Street Warriors provided Arizonans the opportunity to fall in love with the street racing culture. Reporting from Tucson, Jack Johnson, Cronkite News.
Harris says that while he has considered other dragways closer to Phoenix, like Wild Horse Pass in Chandler, his main focus at the moment is to strengthen his ties to the Tucson Dragway. Both Street Warriors and the Dragway are in discussions for a return trip this fall. The 19th ranked ASU Sun Devils head up to Provo on Saturday to kick off their road schedule against BYU. The 23rd ranked Cougars will be ASU's first big challenge of the year after games against Southern Utah and UNLV. It will be the team's first time facing each other since 1998. BYU is coming off of a big win against Utah in the Holy War. ASU offensive coordinator Zach Hill looks forward to seeing how the team reacts to BYU's defense in their first road game.
It's a really good overall defense. They have a very good coaching staff. It's a sound defense, and you know they don't give up a lot of big plays.
After an impressive 5-sack performance against the Titans this past Sunday, the Cardinals' Chandler Jones was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Jones's 5 sacks are a career high and tied the franchise record set by Hassan Reddick last season. It was the defensive end's 5th career Defensive Player of the Week selection and his 4th with the Cardinals, tying Adrian Wilson for the most in franchise history. Jones will crank it up again this weekend in the Cardinals' home opener against the Vikings. Now to the hardwood. The Phoenix Mercury announced a new multi-year partnership with CarMax. This is the first deal between CarMax and a WNBA team. Some other good news for the Mercury: center Brittany Griner was named the WNBA's Western Conference Player of the Week for the 5th time this season, including 4 of the last 5 weeks, with teammate Skylar Diggins-Smith winning the award the week Griner was out. Griner averaged 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks this past week. She also recorded her 4th dunk of the season in Sunday's loss to the Connecticut Sun.
Honestly, I have to give all that to my teammates. Like I always play around in practice, you know, shooting those shots, and they're always telling me dunk more. So if it wasn't for them believing in me the way that they do, my coaches, I probably wouldn't have done it.
The Mercury close out their regular season this weekend with games against the Seattle Storm and Las Vegas Aces. And before we go, Patrick Cantlay was named the PGA Tour Player of the Year over ASU alum John Rahm. After his 4-win season, Cantlay won the award, which is voted on by the other tour players. And that does it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Karen and Julia.
Coming up, Arizona State University has been #1 in innovation for the past 6 years. Up next, the new title ASU recently received, and find out if the school stays on top for innovation.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
For the 7th year in a row, U.S. News and World Report's named Arizona State University #1 in innovation. And now the Sierra Club picked ASU as the most sustainable school in the country. ASU scored a 91.31 on their scale out of 100 points. The school jumped 3 spots in part because of its Global Futures Laboratory and 2 new programs. ASU maps and monitors coral reefs around the world, and they brought threatened burrowed owls to their Polytechnic campus so they can survive and flourish.
Right News Tonight, thanks for joining us.
Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.